What's up, book team? It's Amelia and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel, whichever one it may be. All are welcome. So I just wanted to announce / spread the word of the BookTube Games. Basically, it's this readathon that's going to be happening all through February, and it is hosted by Little Wolf Reads. I'll link her original announcement video in the description below. But basically, it's a friendly competition she has created, and I think she's done a fantastic job with it, which is why I'm so excited to talk about it and participate in it. But basically, first you get sorted into a team, and the teams are named after well-known literary places. So there's Ketterdam, Hogwarts, Neverland, Derry, Maine, and Camp Half-Blood. So you basically just pick which of those teams appeal to you, and then throughout the month of February, you and your team are just trying to read as many pages as possible. And there's also going to be challenges once a week. So the first challenge is every single group has a specific book to read within that week. If you complete the book, then it is worth twice the amount of pages, which is awesome. I'm in the Neverland group because Peter Pan will forever always be Bay. And the book that our team leaders chose for us is Girls of Paper and Fire by Natasha Nan. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. So basically, in that first week of February, our entire group has to try and read. Well, not has to. It's an optional thing. If we want to accept the challenge, then we have to read this book within the first week in order to get double the page count. And since I've heard some pretty good things about this book, I'm really excited that this is the book for our group. I don't know the other books off the top of my head, but if you check out Myona's channel, all the information and important links are there. There's also a couple other challenges, like one is to read for 5 minutes in a place that you typically wouldn't read a book in, like a bar or a club or church or what have you. There's another one that's like a 24-hour readathon. And then the last one, I believe, is a scavenger hunt, which I'm really curious to see how that all comes to be. But I think what's most exciting about this entire readathon is that while you have that friendly competition thing, it's mostly gonna be about making friends and just supporting one another, and I think it's going to be so much fun. I've already met some great people, and I am just really looking forward to it. I think it's gonna be a really fun month, honestly. Like, even if I don't end up reading as much as I hope to, I think it'll still be a worthwhile experience just because it's so geared towards making new friends and connecting fellow book lovers to one another and supporting each other in our reading trials, and I think it's gonna be great. So yeah, definitely go check out her initial announcement video to get all the information and stuff, and sign up and join us in our wonderful, crazy little we have a little Discord chat room right now, and it's a lot of fun. We have a general chat, and then we have our little group chats, and it's just really cool because you also see all these different personalities kind of emerging that are very specific to each chat group. It's honestly kind of funny. It's like we're all in our little own Hogwarts houses, which ironically Hogwarts is one of the places. But anyway, so on top of me spreading the word about this readathon, I also wanted to talk about the books that I'm hoping to read potentially during this time period. This is kind of a loose idea. I'm just so excited and hyped for this, and I wanted to get the ball rolling and all my TBR stuff together as soon as possible so that the second it starts I can just jump right on and go. But yeah, I already talked about the first read that I'm probably going to do, which is Girls of Paper and Fire. I honestly have no clue what this book is about. I have actually remained fairly in the dark, which is funny because I've seen a lot of stuff about this. I don't know how that worked out. It just did. But the cover is really pretty, and I've been seeing great things about it, and I kind of want to stay out of the whole loop before I read it. But there is a little blurb on the back that I can read that I don't think will really give me any information. It's, in my land we're known as paper girls, easily torn, existing only for others to use and discard. But there's something they've all forgotten about paper. It can light the world on fire and make it burn. Burn, baby, burn. Just go and burn up. So it seems like there's gonna be some kind of an uprising going on. I don't know, just a guess. But again, I really don't know the details about this book, and I kind of want to keep it that way. The next book that I would love to read is The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon. This is another book that I picked up because I heard good things about it, and I'm not entirely sure what it's about. From what I can gather, it's about a young girl who is living in a world where clairvoyants are illegal, and she herself is a clairvoyant, and she ends up being captured by someone who is trying to use clairvoyance for bad, basically. That's at least what I've gathered by reading the summary. So we'll see. But anyway, I know Samantha Shannon is coming out with another book this year, and it looks really good, and I want to see how I like her writing with this book since I have this now. And I've had this for a while, so it'll just be great to get it off of my TBR shelf. The next book that I'm hoping to read is ZeroWaste Home by B. Johnson. It's kind of self-explanatory. Basically, B. Johnson's family has successfully gone to a mostly zero waste situation. Like, I'm pretty sure they just had a little like mason jar full of trash that they accumulated over the year, which I think is really impressive. And before the holidays this past year, I did the whole Marie Kondo magical art of tidying up thing. So now I'm just like really interested in keeping a minimalistic life for the most part. As you can see, my books were not really trimmed down much, but I would love to learn more ways to just trim down my life and trim down my usages of things that are very wasteful and that I really can avoid, especially plastic. I'm really trying to avoid using single-use plastics this year, but I am just really curious to see what things she has developed over the years to help her generally just eliminate a lot of waste out of her life. Next book that I really want to get to is Monstrous Beauty by Elizabeth Fama? I think it's Fama. We'll go with Fama. This is a Little Mermaid retelling, and it seems like there's also a vengeful ghost story, which I'm all about. This has been also on my TBR for a while, so I think it would just be great to just get it away, just get it over with, and well, not get it over with. I will hopefully enjoy it while I am removing it from my TBR shelf, but you know what I mean. Next book that I would like to get to is The Raven Boys, which is the first book of the Raven cycle by Maggie Stiefvater. So I'm a little hesitant to start this one because I read her first book, or rather I DNF'd the first book in the Shiver series, like this, it was like Shiver Lingers something. I got halfway through Shiver and I just had to stop. Actually, I don't even know if I made it halfway. I couldn't stand it. But I have heard amazing things about this series, and so I really just want to give her writing another shot. So what I gather about what this is about, how many times can I say about? Basically, there's a girl, her name is Blue, and she comes across these boys who go to a private school, but they're also on their own little quest. I don't know, but I know that they're known as the Raven Boys. And I also know that this series is a very well-known, very popular, very well-loved series. So I am hoping for the best with this one. Next book on my list is Starfall by Melissa Landers. This is a companion novel to, I believe it might not have been her debut, but the first book before this was Starflight. I really enjoyed Starflight. That was one of my favorite reads a couple years ago. And then this came out, I think, a year later or so, maybe a year and a half later. And I got it, and I just never got around to picking it up. And I'm really excited because this follows Kane and Cassia, who weren't the main characters of Starflight, but they were kind of like the side characters. But I enjoyed reading them interact during Starflight, so I'm really, really excited to see how they all work out in Starfall. Which, by the way, if you have not read Starflight, it is about, if I remember correctly, she was a thief. Sorry, team, it's been like a year and a half. But it's about a thief who ends up on a boat with a guy who she used to go to school with a long time ago, and he's just very, very rich and very snooty, and what ends up happening is he gets knocked out in some way, shape, or form, and he loses his memory. And when he comes to, she basically convinces him that he is her servant and that she's actually the rich one, and then things just escalate from there. It's basically the movie Overboard, that like old movie in the 80s. I think they just remade it last year or something like that. I don't know, but it's basically that movie, but gender swapped and in space, and it's awesome. Next book on my list is The Ocean at the End of the Lane by Neil Gaiman. One of my really, really good friends just desperately wants me to read this book, so I'm going to. And I know it's kind of small for a page count centered readathon, but I know I'm just gonna want some short reads every once in a while, so they're kind of littered in there if you haven't noticed yet. But basically this is about a man who returns to his childhood home for a funeral, and while he is back home, he just remembers a lot about the past, especially in regards to a girl he grew up with. And I've heard that this is just like a gorgeous, gorgeous book, so I'm really excited to jump into it and see what kind of emotions I'm going to be feeling, because I feel like this is going to be a very emotional book. I've already kind of been warned that's going to be an emotional book, but it just, like, look at that cover. It's like you can't see that cover and then know also kind of generally what it's about and not expect for your heart to be broken. Like, you're just asking for it. In a good way. It's a good heartbreak, you know? Sometimes you just need a good heartbreak. Next book is The American Heiress by Daisy Goodwin. This is a bit of a long one, but I am hoping to get to this in some way, shape, or form. This focuses on a young woman named Cora who is an American heiress, and her mother whisks her away to England to potentially get a title. So basically it's about her navigating through British society. I think it's in 1893, so that's a little over 100 years since the Revolutionary War at that point. Again, another book that I have a friend who's absolutely obsessed with it, so I really can't wait to read this. I can't wait to read all the books. Like, I don't know why I keep saying that as if it's new information, but next is I Am Malala by Malala Yousafzai. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Malala. You deserve so much more than this. This is yet another book that has been on my TBR for ever and a day, which is a shame because I do admire Malala a lot, even though I can't pronounce her last name for the life of me. But this girl got shot standing up for education for women. She survived, and she's able to keep spreading this message and need to educate women in countries that don't necessarily agree with educating women. There are just some things in the world that will never make sense to me, and I'm sorry, but it just will never make sense to me. In any case, I think she's incredible, and I really, really want to read her book. Next on the list is another big one. It's The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue by Mackenzie Lee. Another big one, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. I would love to get to this because I've heard great things about this. Not so many great things about the sequel, but that's okay. So this is about a young man named Monty who is coming home after a stint at boarding school, and he is coming home to inherit his father's estate. However, he really wants to not do that, and he wants to go do his own thing. I'm told there's some alchemy involved in it somehow. Something like that? I don't know. But I know that he's basically a rambunctious individual. And he's also harboring a huge crush on his travel companion, Percy. Gondolas! I feel like the descriptions I'm giving you guys aren't that great, but that's also because I just like to know briefly what's going on, just like a little gist, because I just like going in blind and not really knowing what to expect. So I apologize for that. But again, I have heard incredible things about this book, so I hope to get to it. Chances are I will not, but you know, it's here if I'm able to. And the last book is another small one, and it will actually be somewhat of a reread for me. And that is Carbonell, the King of the Cats by Barbara Slay. And I slay, all day, all day. Alright, I'm done. I remember my mom reading this to me when I was little, and I vaguely remember what happens in it, but I feel a need to revisit this. I don't know why. I just saw it when I was cleaning out my childhood bedroom when I was back home for the holidays, and I just saw it and I was like, I want to reread this. This is about a young girl named Rosemary, and she ends up getting enlisted by a cat named Carbonell, who ends up actually being a prince who has been cursed, and he needs her help along with her friend Jean to lift the curse so that he can return to his rightful throne. I just remember it being super cute and super fun, and I would love to be able to reread this. Like, even if it's not in this readathon, I just think it'll be so great to revisit a little bit of my childhood right here. So that's my general TBR for next month. There's a lot of books. Chances are I will not be getting to any of them, and that's okay. I don't really have a goal book number wise, but my page count number goal I have set at 2,000, because that's roughly about 4 to 5 books, so roughly about a book a week or so. But I think 2,000 pages is a perfectly manageable number. But yeah, guys, I'm just super excited for this. I think it's just gonna be a blast, and I'm hoping that I'll be able to keep up with my fellow teammates. Again, if you want to join in on this readathon, all the information is below. And if you like this video, please like it. And if you want to see more videos, please hit that fancy dancy subscribe button. Oh, and definitely let me know if you join, and if so, which team, especially if you're on the Neverland team, so then I can hit you up and we can maybe read some books together, and it would be great. But whether it's participating with me in the BookTube games, or chatting with me in the comments, or watching my next video, I will see you guys soon. Until next time, y'all.